these are the 17 reasons why people are actually getting shadow banned on TikTok, and it is real. Shadow banning is if you're getting 10 to 50 views and you're not showing up on the For You page at all. Now, before I get started, make sure you go ahead and check the description. I have a community, a free community that you guys can go ahead and join. I'm trying to help 10,000 creators join the creator economy. So if you want to go and check that out, check the description. So the first one is follow and unfollow frequently, okay? Way too much. People are following and unfollowing way too frequently. This is obviously an activity that TikTok does not like, does not want you to continue to do. And if you're following and unfollowing, it is going to be no good for your account. You're going to look like a bot to TikTok. Now, the second thing is you're using engagement groups. Have you ever heard of engagement groups? There was a big thing on Instagram a while back where you would go ahead and you would make a list of people that are going to get together, and you're each going to post your video in the group, and everybody's going to go like and comment and share. Those things are going to be off limits with TikTok. And if TikTok finds out that you're doing that, you're going to get shadow banned for that as well. This would be something like artificial engagement, those kind of things. So you don't want to do that. That is something that TikTok is really going to be cracking down on, and is cracking down on right now. Because the big thing for them is they know where you see the video. Do you see it on the following page, the For You page? If you're going ahead and clicking a direct link every time in the same group of people that are clicking a direct link every time to a video, there's obviously a trail and a trace that TikTok can see, and their AI, their automation can go ahead and label you as a bot, and then you're going to go ahead and get those 10 to 50 views, and you're not going to be treated the same as other accounts on the app. Now, number 3 is you're getting a lot of bot accounts to interact with your content. Okay. Now that is not necessarily your fault. That can be some sort of niche specific topic. So especially if you're in some sort of promiscuous type niche, or you're using certain hashtags, if you've ever seen on some accounts where the same bots over and over again comment, that happens from time to time. But all that's commenting is bots. They're going to also assume that you're some sort of bot or you're affiliated with the bot. So what you want to do is make sure that you're not using 30 hashtags and getting caught up with some of these negative hashtags. There isn't a place that necessarily tells you what hashtags are bad, but if you're using a lot of hashtags that could be considered promiscuous, scammy, fraudulent, etc., probably shouldn't use them, okay? Now, number 4, this one's gonna be pretty obvious as well, but you guys have to realize it and have to understand that if you're buying followers or engagement, you're going to get shadow banned, okay? They obviously know that these followers are not real. They're bots, just like we talked about before. If you're buying followers or engagement, eventually you're going to get found out, and you will not be receiving hardly any views and hardly any For You page views at all, simply because they know that you're trying to game the system. Now, as we get here to number 5, this is you being an actual user of TikTok, right? And that is spam, right? Spamming comments, spamming videos, anything to do with spam, doing a frequent activity way too often. Those are the things that are going to get you shadow banned and look like a bot, right? It's all about your recent activity with TikTok, because they can track and trace what your recent activity is. And if it seems bot-like and not human-like, they're going to restrict you as an account. So you need to keep your recent activity in mind. Now, the next one here is one that I see all the time. So number 6 is LIB, link in bio, and or the DM, right? So you guys have to be wary of that as well. There's all kinds of things that go on with automations on Instagram with, DM me for this and that, or type in word sport in order to get a DM from somebody. They'd be able to go ahead and go into the direct messages. They'll get an automated message from a creator. Those things are not a thing here on TikTok. And so you have to be wary if you're doing PM me, DM me, okay? If you're doing link in bio, if you're saying these things consistently in your content, you're going to get shadow banned. You're going to get restricted, because those are things that bots also do. So just be wary of that. Okay. Number 7 is you have to understand your link in bio has to adhere to guidelines. You can't have things that are violating the terms of service or the guidelines on TikTok, right? So with that being said, you have to understand that having hidden affiliate links or things that are adult content or violent or all of those things, you have to be cognizant of what link is in your bio, okay? And even if you're using a link share, if you have a link that's connected to a link that's not good, you can also find your way. So that's even why some people's Instagrams with things that are like OF pages and all of those things are still getting their links taken away from them, etc., because of these things. So you have to be careful with what you're linking out. So that's another big thing that I'm seeing as of recently. Number 8, let's go ahead and take it over to TikTok Live. Number 8 is taking people off the platform, okay? People are taking people off platform. You don't want to do that either. There has been something that has actually stated in the guidelines of Live that they don't want you to say other platforms like YouTube or Kick or Instagram or all these things. They don't want you to continually take people off the platform. So if you're saying these things or you're trying to write them on the screen or use green screen behind you on Live, you got to make sure that you are understanding that they're going to reward you. They want the viewer to stay on the platform. So go ahead and abide by those. If you want to go ahead and say those things every once in a while, fine, but don't sit there and consistently say, go to my YouTube, go to my YouTube, go to my YouTube. Use it as a call to action, maybe a couple times per hour. But other than that, try to keep them on the platform as long as possible, and TikTok will continue to reward you. Now, this is a big one. This one is massive. Number 9 here is you're posting 5 times per day, but you're posting videos, okay? Instead, you should be posting content, okay? There's a big difference between videos and content. So people are posting 5 videos a day. They're random. They have nothing to do with what they want their account to be about. If you're posting 5 times per day in general, a lot of times TikTok understands that you're not going to have 5 quality creative pieces of content. So a lot of times, especially if you're not an authority already on the app where you're getting hundreds of thousands or millions of viewers consistently, your account doesn't have the real estate, doesn't have the built-in amount to be able to absorb 5 videos per day, if that makes sense. Your account doesn't have enough authority to post that many times in a row yet. They've earned the repeat viewership. They've earned that people are binging their content. All those things are good signs to TikTok. But if you're a brand new account or a small account, you have to earn those wins and compound those wins to show TikTok that you're an authority. That's how you get more views. That's how you're able to post more than, say, 3 times per day. But if you're posting 5 times per day in general, you're probably hurting. You're probably getting 0 to 10 views. So post less. I would start posting just once per day, being consistent, and that will help you a ton. Now, here's a big one for number 10, especially people who are doing faceless accounts or they're trying to just capitalize on videos that did extremely well. Number 10 here is you're trying to repost videos that you already posted in the past. Now, you can get away with this. You can get away with reposting a prior video if you change it in some ways, if you edit it enough, you can get away with it. But if you get caught or the AI eventually catches that video, they will report it. You'll get a guideline strike, you'll get a content strike, and it will come back to haunt you. So my suggestion is that you don't try to repost any of those videos in general. Instead, what you can do is actually just recreate that video with a different visual. You could use almost the same script, but don't use, or even the same visual as well, but don't use that exact video, try to edit it up and doctor it, because eventually it will come back to haunt you. I've even had videos on different accounts where I've tried to do that same thing and doctor it up, and eventually at first it worked, but then you get that guideline strike. And there are some people that have the thought process of, even if you are getting those views, by the time that you get all of those views and your video views go up, when they strike you, it's not even going to matter anyway, because you already capitalized and got all those views. However, it does affect your account over the longevity of it, because if you're continuing to accumulate these community guideline strikes and those things, your authority score, okay, your authority is going down if you continue to get strikes like that. If you've seen a lot of the big accounts, they're not getting community guideline strikes. They're gaining trust with TikTok. They're getting a lot of people to come to their account and rewatch their account. So they're building that authority. If you're reposting and you eventually get caught, you are losing that authority. So you want to keep that in mind as we're growing in the long haul, okay? All right, now, with that being said, let's talk about number 11, where you guys are going against the guidelines in terms of things that are like promiscuous or gambling or violence or drugs or all these things that you can't do. You're creating content around. And if you're creating content around these things, you have to know that you're playing with fire, that it could hurt your account. You could lose your account. And I don't want you to be frustrated with yourself or with TikTok if you do, because you have to understand that these rules are in place for a reason. And if you're trying to play with fire and you lose, that's part of the gamble that you took. Now, number 12 is really obvious, and it's the same sort of thing. We're getting too many guideline strikes, okay? Obviously, if you're getting a bunch of guideline strikes, your account is going to be flagged. Your account is going to be labeled for those similar things. And if you do these things over and over again, obviously, even if, like we talked about earlier, if the AI catches you and all of a sudden 4 or 5 videos get flagged from 1 month, 2 months, 5 months ago, your account all of a sudden starts to drag or you start to lose momentum. Another thing that a lot of people are doing, especially these faceless accounts, are they're posting a lot of copyrighted content. So you have to be very careful when you are posting copyrighted content. These are movie clips. These are things that are already on YouTube, sports, some of these things that have high copyrighted pieces of work. You have to be careful with copyrights. You can edit them. You can over edit them. There are plenty of people that do this and that win. But like I said, you have that chance that you're going to get 5 to 10 violations. It's going to ruin your account. It's going to kick you off the Creator Rewards program and all of those things. So you have to be cognizant of that as well. Now, number 14 here is a big one, and I've been seeing it a lot recently on TikTok. TikTok does not like it at all. This right here is the teamwork trend, okay? If you've ever seen the teamwork trend, we'll go hashtag teamwork. People are doing this teamwork trend where they're hashtagging teamwork and they're trying to follow and spam and comment teamwork on all these accounts, and they're all following each other. They're all liking each other, just like a big engagement group, except for it's taking place on TikTok. If you're part of the teamwork trend, I want you guys to go ahead and stop posting that. Unfollow those people, because a lot of these accounts have 10,000 followers and 8,000 people that they're following. Another red flag to TikTok. If you get caught doing that, it's probably going to hurt your account for a long time. Now, number 15 here is using a VPN and or looking like, at least with your account, that you're logged into multiple different countries in a very short period of time. This obviously is a red flag. Now, there really isn't a reason to hide your IP address normally, unless you're really trying to protect your privacy, which I get, that's people's argument. But in the same breath, people who are using VPNs are also probably doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And most times they're trying to get away with something that they shouldn't be doing. Now, this is something, number 16 here, that I see a lot with my Creator Rewards programs, people, and that is using a SIM card, okay? Using a SIM card, especially to get on the Creator Rewards program. There are plenty of countries that you can't use and can't be on the Creator Rewards program. So they try to use a different SIM card in their phone, and a lot of times they get caught and get banned from the program, and they get some money locked up, and it can be a nightmare for people on the Creator Rewards program. So using a SIM card is a no-no. Otherwise, you can take the risk, but you just have to understand that eventually you might get caught. And then finally, number 17, it was an accident, right? TikTok makes mistakes all the time, and their AI isn't perfect. If you go ahead and appeal most times the mistakes, and you appeal the mistakes, you're going to be just fine. So if none of these things are actually happening to you and you're getting stuck in the 200 to 300 view jail, you are not shadow banned. That means you have a problem with hooks or topics, ideas, the way that you're creating content, the format of your content. I want you guys to go ahead and check out this video right here, because it's gonna help you grow on TikTok to the point where you're not in the 200, 300 view jail anymore.